Opening night in the 2025 USL Championship season.
Last season at Miami, he really struggled to replace Cal Jennings. Not easy.
Starts here tonight. We'll have the kickoff in Vegas next. Opening night in the 2025 USL Championship season concludes in Las Vegas, Nevada tonight, presented by Wallet. It's the USL Championship here on CBS Sports. Golazo, Sean St. Jacques, and the Manchester United legend Gary Bailey on hand as the Las Vegas Lights play host to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to this opening night fixture in the USL Championship. And of course, Gary, changes for both teams, but one of the big ones, Dennis Sanchez moving on to New Mexico. In steps Antonio Nocerino.
It's a big task for Antonio Nocerino, given that last season at Miami he really struggled as a player. Look at his history. I mean, 15 caps for Italy. What a fantastic player he was. But as head coach of Miami FC last year was a bit of a disaster. Massive pressure on him to do well with Las Vegas Lights this year.
And some of the players for the Lights that moved on during the offseason were replaced. None bigger than the addition of Johnny Rodriguez from Oakland.
Oakland's all-time top goal scorer. You can see why I love watching this guy play. He's always in the right place at the right time. He sniffs out goals. There he gets on the end of one. He's Johnny on the spot. Is Johnny Rodriguez in so many different senses. A wonderful finisher. What a good addition to the Lights.
One thing that should help for the Lights early on in the season is having big returnees, like Valentin Noel, for instance.
For me, the class player at Las Vegas Lights last year. Yes, Corey Bennett got most of the goals, but he was second, and he was just so clever in terms of being in the right place, also at the right time, similar to Johnny Rodriguez in that sense. But lovely pass to the ball, great football awareness, and a very important player to have kept on their roster.
Notable changes for the Rowdies as well. Cal Jennings leaves and goes to the Charleston Battery, but the likes of Wubens Pasillas have come in and have hit the ground running. He scored 6 goals in the Rowdies preseason.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him play. Don't know too much about him. He did get 8 goals and 2 assists with Huntsville City in MLS Next Pro last season, but this is a higher level, a little bit more difficult, and to replace Cal Jennings, not easy.
But a key returnee, certainly helpful. Manuel Arteaga, another big-time goal scorer.
20 goals last season. I just think he's a fabulous player. Good with the head, as you see there. But he's in the edge of the box. He takes shots. He's there for crosses. Right place, right time. Just a brilliant player once again for Tampa Bay Rowdies to have kept him. Yes, they've lost Cal Jennings, but they've kept Manuel Arteaga, and that's so important.
The first step of what expects to be another thriller of a USL Championship season starts here tonight. We'll have the kickoff in Vegas next. Tonight's match is brought to you by the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Remember to change your watering clocks for spring. Water plants and trees up to 2 days a week. And of course, Great Clips. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you. Let's dive into the Richard Harris Law Firm starting 11. First game in charge for Antonio Nocerino, and it must be mentioned, a lot of players out injured.
A huge number of players out injured. But just as far as new players are concerned for Las Vegas Lights fans, Nate Jones starts, Jack Singer, Ashish Chatter, and Johnny Rodriguez.
Certainly some new faces in the second season for Robbie Nielsen, particularly up top along with Arteaga.
Yeah, new faces include Rubens Pacias and Ollie Bassett, Cammy McPherson in midfield, and Robert Castellanos is back in defense.
Yeah, we talk about new faces, some returning faces for the Rowdies. You mentioned Castellanos. Lawrence Wyke returns for a second stint with the Rowdies and rejoins the starting 11 for them as well. Well, Vegas is coming off, and this is not hyperbole, their best season ever as a club. What do they have in store for an encore with some freshly changed faces and, of course, a fresh face in charge as well? Bit of an underwhelming finish to the Rowdies season. Robbie Nielsen's side want to be competing for trophies again, and it all begins tonight. Final game of the first match day, or first match night, if you will, in the 2025 USL Championship season. Cashman Field here in Las Vegas. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, our entire crew. Always an honor, always a pleasure to kick off a new season of USL Championship action with you. And it's certainly a meeting and a fixture that provides plenty of intrigue to finish off opening night of this 2025 USL Championship season. Vegas controlled for a moment. They're going from right to left in their blues. The Rowdies are, of course, celebrating their 50th anniversary season in their classic greens with the yellow trim as this ball's looped over the top, and it's a goal kick to the Lights inside of a minute.
So let's start for Las Vegas fans by explaining why there's no Coleman, Gannon, and Samake, Sean Smart, Malik Howell. That's because they're all injured and not available to Antonio Nocerino. And then there's visa problems for Budadi and Peters, who comes from Juventus. So that man in picture there has not had an easy start in terms of getting his strongest 11 out there. There's 6 or 7 players who you would think would be first-team picks, not available at the moment.
That leaves room for the likes of Nate Jones, Jack Singer, who really just has college experience under his belt, and others that'll have to step into the fold. Ashish Chatter brought in immediately into the starting lineup. I'm sure that was not part of Antonio Nocerino's plans either, but his life in the USL Championship, and we'll see how Vegas gets on in front of a solid crowd here at Cashman tonight.
I think for the Tampa Bay Rowdies fans, what we can do is give them some good news on the bench. Besides all the new players they've got in on the bench, Forrest Lasso is back. That's great news. Lewis Hilton is available. Always one of my favorites in midfield. Nick Moon, Thomas van Keierziel, and young Nate Worth amongst the subs, along with Mateus de Jesus. So that's a strong bench. That's a very, very powerful bench. And they've got a new goalkeeper in goals there who's going to replace Jordan Farr, and that's Nicolas Campisi with great experience in Argentina. So some very exciting players. If you're a Tampa Bay Rowdies fan, this is an exciting season with all sorts of possibilities.
And the Rowdies didn't waste any time trying to make up for the loss of Cal Jennings, who went to the battery, of course, as a long shot comes in here, parried away by Amateur. It's not cleared yet. Arteaga ends up picking up a foul as he tried to pick up the pieces inside the Lights penalty area.
Being called straight into action there, Nick Amateur, the Swiss 24-year-old. This is what Tampa Bay can do, though. Long-range shot. It's at the goalkeeper, pushes it back into a danger area. But interesting that there's no Rosarina, not even on the subs bench. There's a young goalkeeper, Carver Miller. So I guess Rosarina, another one of those, just unavailable to Nocerino at the moment.
A lot of players who played such a key role in Vegas's run to the Western Conference Final a season ago. Ended up knocking out Sac Republic and New Mexico, but fell late on to the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the eventual champions. And the Rowdies running forward again here. A clearance needed in the middle of the park. It's out for another throw-in, as the Rowdies have 2 nice forays forward here. a look at Antonio Nocerino. You mentioned it earlier, Gary. Really tough season with Miami, but he's thrilled to be a part of this Vegas organization. Fresh start for him. He really stressed to us just trying to get that mentality stable in this group and wanting to have the competition levels high in the squad in the early moments of the season. Another cross in here. Rowdies really turning up the heat early, and it's out for a throw-in. Far side, Blake Bodley controls. Arteaga, it's a lovely little give and go. Played back outside, Crisostomo, of course a former Vegas player. It was a chance for Pasillas, nearly fell for Arteaga. Amateur is able to gobble it up.
Interesting look at Pasillas there. He's got lots of height. And Arteaga's good in the air. And it looked like Pasillas does well. Gets to this near post and beats the defender to the ball and allows the ball to be knocked down into the danger area. So you can see that crosses could be a big feature of Tampa Bay Rowdies this season.
Pasillas had a lot of positive moments in the Nashville organization with Huntsville City, MLS Next Pro, 10 goal contributions there last season. 6 goals in the Rowdies preseason campaign as well, and that's really what's turned a lot of heads and has heightened the expectations. But of course, Ali Bassett, Arteaga, and others will try to make up the difference with Cal Jennings moving on during the offseason.
It looks like a good squad, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and Robbie Nielsen just chatting to us said he's been very happy, especially goalkeepers and defenders and midfield. Said maybe a little bit light up front if they get any injuries, but they've got some real equipment. When you can put Lewis Hilton on the bench and Forrest Lasso, that's not too bad.
Robbie Nielsen highlighted to us the defensive depth in this squad and said already it looks better than it was last year. And there were some rocky moments towards the end of the regular season for the Rowdies last year. There's no questions about that. They dipped a couple of seed places because of that. They'd love to rectify that this season. This is a high arcing cross into the middle, but Gennaro Nigro controls for the Lights, although quickly is dispossessed. Leon Gabiri gets back onto it and wins the Rowdies a corner on the near side.
You're right, Rowdies finishing 6th, which is unlike them. But to be fair, after that hurricane, they weren't able to play at home. That didn't make life any easier for Robbie Nielsen. But, you know, Neil Collins achieved a lot of success, and unfortunately for Robbie, he knows that he's going to always going to be measured against what Neil Collins was able to achieve.
To your point about the Storm as well, the Rowdies are starting out 4 straight road games because of the home renovations. Richard Harris Law Firm corner for the new man, Cammy McPherson, coming over from Scotland. He's had a long-standing relationship with Robbie Nielsen. And he pings in this corner to the near post, sent right back out for a Rowdies throw.
You mentioned Cammy McPherson. He's on loan from St Johnstone, which is a decent team in Scottish football. And he was with St Mirren before that, so some real solid quality to this player. And I think there's some great hopes from Robbie Nielsen that he's going to be the driver in midfield. The fact that Lewis Hilton isn't starting, assuming he's fully fit, we don't know, but he's carrying a slight injury. That's the sort of role Lewis Hilton has always played for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
McPherson keeps his footing, clips the cross into the middle, and it's Arteaga! It's wide of the post. And he may have also pushed his way to get to that header.
I think he did. I wonder if the header would have been allowed had it have gone in. So there's definitely a shove there on the defender. Have a look at it again from a different angle. But still, this is where he's good in the air. And already you've seen a lot of crosses coming in left and right from Tampa Bay Rowdies. And as you mentioned earlier, with Pasillas seemingly good in the air, and we know that Arteaga is, that might be the way they're going to play this season.
First real foray forward for Vegas here as Kona is dispossessed on the edge of the penalty area, then a long distance strike. He's been just wide of Capisi's goal.
Good breakaway. You can see that the skill there as Kona. It's a tricky little player on the ball. Ashish Chatter comes from Orange County. He was on trial with Las Vegas, I believe, in the first few weeks, just to prove he was good enough to start. Again, one of those players who you don't expect to be a regular starter, not when the likes of Coleman Gannon's fit, but right now he's got a chance to show what he can do.
Lawrence White, who returns for another stint with the Rowdies from Phoenix. Arteaga, of course, was on that Phoenix Rising team that won the title back in 2023, a couple seasons ago now, as the attack fizzles out for the Rowdies. Blake Bodley sends it out of play. Well, welcome to the 2025 USL Kickoff, presented by Terminex. Throughout the month of March, the USL will be kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on all ESPN and CBS sports platforms.
It's interesting, when chatting to both managers, Antonio Nocerino and Robbie Nielsen, we did ask them both the question, what are your plans for the opposition? And they said, well, we don't know. We don't know who's playing. We don't know how they play. Robbie Nielsen saying they have a new manager. He might have different ways. He said, so both managers pretty much saying the same thing. We'll do what we can do best, and we'll deal with the opposition on the pitch. Once we see how they play, what they do, then we'll adjust throughout the game. And that was their take. And I think that's normal in opening games of the season. That's the only way you can really play it.
Especially in a league like the USL Championship, where every offseason there's constant movement, always at least a handful of big moves. Player either leaving to, well, like Nick Marcanic, of course, going to Spain, or a player like Cal Jennings going from one really good club to another really good club. It always changes especially the opening few weeks, as far as the narratives and how teams prepare. Brandon Stevis is our head official tonight. He wants the ball put back onto the far side. Another chance for the Lights to build something here. And again, Edison Azcona at the heart of the build initially. Valentin Noel, who had a wonderful season for the Lights last time around. Considering all the big names that left, a big returnee for Las Vegas. McPherson for the Rowdies. Nian Gabiri is pressured and loses out to Gennaro Nigro, and then fouls him in the process. And then the ball was kicked away by McPherson, and the referee is having none of that.
You can actually hear the referee's voice. Says, hey, come over here. Very strict, and that's nothing wrong with that at all. It's good refereeing, as long as you're consistent.
I think Robbie Nielsen is having a word with the fourth official there. His second season with the Rowdies. Had a brilliant start at times last season. One thing that Robbie Nielsen pointed out to us is how great the Rowdies were at home last season. Just 3 defeats in 16, 10 victories. On the road, to just kind of compare and contrast for Tampa Bay, 4 wins, 9 defeats, 5 draws. That's a big reason why the Rowdies kind of slipped towards the end of the regular season. Again, the Storms, of course, not helping from the end of last season to the beginning of this season either, but they really want to improve the road form, Tampa Bay, and they have a great chance with 4th away from home at the start of this season.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the characters in the locker room, because playing away from home it's psychologically more difficult. You've got Forrest Lasso back. I think he's going to be massive. Oranguian, of course, is the captain. Lewis Hilton, Leo Fernandez. Those are the main players that Robbie Nielsen picked up. But I think you'll also find the likes of a Cammy McPherson, with all his experience in Scotland. If he's a regular, he will start to stamp his authority and his knowledge. And so you've got these big-time players at Tampa Bay who I think will help them pick up points on the road.
Certainly bringing back as well the likes of Castellanos and Wyke surely will help as well. They know what this is about. They've been with the Rowdies before on good Rowdies teams in the past, and I'm sure that also is a big boost in what you're talking about there, Gary.
100%. Forrest Lasso for me, just what is he, 6'5"? You're not going to argue with him. And if you want a leader to fight you, to help you fight in battle away from home, then he has got to be up there. I haven't seen enough of Nicholas Campisi, the goalkeeper, but he's a large unit. He's 28. Here he is on the ball here. A lot of experience playing in Argentina and Paraguay. Again, that sort of experience that can help you in these important games as the season moves on, especially towards playoffs.
Ball played out wide by Bodley initially, and it could be a nice surge forward again for Tampa Bay. And on the cutback, Noel steps in. And Noel, I think, was tripped up by Ali Bassett. It's going to be a free kick for the Lights.
Ali Bassett seems to be saying, I didn't touch him, and he just dived. 26 years of age, the Northern Irish Youth International. Have a look. He's saying there was no contact at all. And he might be right. I didn't see any contact there.
In the end, the Lights do get the decision there. Macias tried to hold up the play. Neon Gabiri from McPherson on the near side for Tampa Bay. Both teams have had a couple of opportunities in these opening 15 minutes. Wyke on the overlap here for Neon Gabiri. His cross into the middle is tame for Amateur.
I think he was hoping there'd be a near post run that might get on the end of that, Lawrence Wyke, but no one reading his intentions. Just looking at the pitch as well, the ball's bobbled a few times. You can see there's green patches and there's dark brown patches, so we can't tell from here. Just only the players could tell you how difficult or not it is, but it looks like there might be a few tricky patches.
Jones clears it down this near side and tried to pick out Ascona, who was pushed over by Wyke. Wyke pleads his case, but it's a Las Vegas free kick.
Quite sure what Lawrence Wyke is trying to plead. Have a look here. I mean, there's a proper shove. I mean, it's not even a bump, it's a shove. You're never going to get away with it. He might have been complaining about something at the other end of the pitch where he wasn't given a decision, but that particular incident, I think it's a dead cert free kick.
Even with all the injuries, the Lights have plenty of options here from a set piece in front of the Cashman Field faithful. Referee trying to make sure nothing untoward happens around the penalty spot. Well, a couple of Rowdies are actually having a discussion with the referee. And from the set piece, it was put into a dangerous area. Wyke gets his head to it. It's not cleared yet. Still up for grabs, pushing and shoving in the penalty area. The Rowdies just about clear it. It's a reset from Pinzon all the way back to the goalkeeper. Nigro assesses the scene. Ascona. The reverse ball, Rodriguez on the return. Couldn't find Ascona, was cut out. Again, Vegas will look to build. Chata resets. The press from the Rowdies forces a tough pass. Cut out by Neon Gabiri, who follows through, but it's no foul, says the referee. Play on. There'll be a chance here. Crisostomo looking for Artiaga. The attack doesn't quite come off there. Joe Zhao will win a throw-in. Well, the Las Vegas Lights are proud to be working with Southern Nevada Water Authority. Remember to change your watering clocks for spring. Water plants and trees up to 2 days a week.
Got to mention, while we get a moment, just how fantastic Las Vegas Lights were last season. What a run to the Western Conference final. And even in the final itself, it was only brilliant goalkeeping by Colorado Springs keeper that kept out two great chances. Corey Bennett had a header just after half-time, I think it was, point blank. Stunning save. And then, was it 5 minutes from time? There was an opportunity, and it was from a header from Pinzon, 6 yards out. One of the most unbelievable saves. It was Herrera who made the save. So, you know, unlucky that Vegas didn't win the Western Conference final and get to play Rhode Island. They were so close. Absolutely brilliant season. Dennis Sanchez and the entire squad.
was Juan Tejada in the first half who scored for the Switchbacks. It was enough to send Colorado Springs to the final, and we all know what happened after that. Sorry to the Rhode Island fans watching late on the East Coast.
That's the sort of, well, those were the sort of games that Tampa Bay were involved in for years beforehand. Eastern Conference playoffs and then championship finals, and as you mentioned, finishing 6th last season, way below their normally very high standard, this being their 50th year. And I believe they have all sorts of wonderful strips out that recollect the days of the 70s with the collars, and so get those strips if you're a fan. But they would love to go on and win something. Losing to Charleston, it was Arteaga who gave them the lead in that match, but it was a couple of goals, one an absolute golazo.
Azcona here tries to score a wonder strike. It takes a ricochet out for a lights corner as the Dominican Republic international took aim.
Just to finish that point, Aaron Malloy, remember that free kick? What a golazo that was, and the Marcanic header before. So tough one for Tampa Bay Rowdies in the semi-finals of the Eastern Conference last year.
Yeah, they knocked out Detroit on penalties in the first round, but the battery too much for them in the conference semis. Another Richard Harris law firm corner here. Taken short for Azcona. And then Nigro on the overlap, plays it across. It was just about cleared away by Arteaga, but not definitively. Azcona has Nigro to his left. Tries the quick fancy feet with two men around him and ends up getting dispossessed. Pasillas for Bassett to try to lead the Rowdies up the other end. McPherson is able to get on the end of it. He's forced to hold up the play ever so slightly as Bassett helps him out. Pasillas trying to link up again with Bassett. A little give and go, didn't come off, and then Rodriguez hasn't had too many touches so far for the Lights. They'd like to change that. Rowdy's all over him when he gets around the ball. Oakland Roots all-time franchise leader in goals. Guided the Roots to the playoffs last season despite a roller coaster ride at the end of the regular season. But of course the Roots were another victim in the Colorado Springs Switchbacks route to the title. McPherson, a little give and go with Bassett. It's going to roll out of play. Well, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your ticket to great seats. Hopeful ball up ahead by Noel, but it comes off, and Kabisi had to get back into his net. Pinzon holds up the play for Las Vegas here, waits for more help. Azcona is fouled, and it's a free kick.
You're right about Azcona. He has been in the thick of it since this match started. Very sharp, playing almost left midfield to left striker. I've seen him right on the striker's line. He's dropped back into midfield as well. He has been a live wire for the Las Vegas Lights in this opening 23 or so minutes.
Was part of the Dominican Republic team that qualified for the nation's first ever CONCACAF Gold Cup through Nations League play in the 2024 season. Huge achievement, by the way, for the Dominican Republic. Look out for them in the future.
Did he not play against Spain in the Olympics?
I believe you're right, yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, they win that, and he had an appearance there. So, yeah, he's got a nice little CV to his name so far, as Edison Azcona.
Pinzon is going to try and shoot here through a sea of legs. It is Nicolas Capisi who's able to dive on top for the Rowdies. Castellanos. Good cut in field by Guillen. Some of the notable Rowdies will be key to the start, in particular of the second season with Robbie Nielsen, beg your pardon, at the helm. Crisostomo was briefly kept in by Bodley. He was dispossessed, and it goes out for a throw going the opposite way.
I think he's a crucial player for them this season, Blake Bodley, as he was last season, getting up and down on those flanks. That's what Robbie Nielsen wants, and he's much more of an attacking player, Blake Bodley, in terms of being a winger. He can get down that line and whip in some great crosses.
And a couple of good balls in earlier at the start of this game. Knights are trying to still grow into it as this first half has moved along. Few chances for either side. Not a ton of clear-cut opportunities yet. Depending on who's playing who, there does tend to be that feeling out process, especially early days and weeks, and in this case, minutes of the season.
And I think it's fair to say a lot of these players playing together for the first time in a competitive match. Yes, there's been some pre-season games where the players have had a chance to play together, but now under pressure, you've got to perform. And just talking of the pre-season, Antonio Nocerino is saying that they had a good 0-0 draw against Chicago Fire and against Sporting Kansas City, in which they worked hard and they felt they did a decent job. But, you know, these pre-season friendlies are a little bit different to when you actually start playing for points. So a little bit of rustiness as the players get to figure each other out today.
The overall history between these two heavily favors the Rowdies. 4 prior meetings, Tampa Bay's won all of them, including a 1-0 win last season. Cal Jennings scoring the winner in the 85th minute. Another nibble of a challenge there. Allows the Rowdies to get back on the ball. Bassett from Guillen. Has some time and space here. Finds Bodley on the far side. He tries to fit the pass through. And it's cleared away by Nate Jones. Wyke tried to fit the pass through, nearly found Bacias. McPherson's pressure. Nigro and the Lights are trying to play through this here. Early ball for Rodriguez in behind. 2 men on Johnny Rodriguez. Wyke furious again over that moment. The Rowdies emerge with the ball.
You could see what Johnny Rodriguez was trying to do there. He ducked his right shoulder, turned and went into the box. You just couldn't bring the ball with him. But that's the sort of player he is. He knows the route to goal and he goes straight for it. And that's why he can be such a dangerous player.
Castellanos. Nian Gabiri for Arteaga. And Arteaga is bundled over by Gartig. It's a Rowdies free kick.
6'4", Elias Gartig. He's a huge unit there. And that's the best way to play him, I think, if you're Arteaga. You know, get him to twist and turn, and if his body gets in the way, he's going to knock you over and give you free kicks in dangerous areas.
Played in just 7 games with the Lights last season. He was a late addition to Dennis Sanchez's squad to try to address some depth defensively. And certainly played his role down the stretch. Lights, of course, ended up getting that number 4 seed in the West. A little bit of confusion as Gartic goes back to his position. Now the Lights are set. Ollie Bassett is going to let it fly, and it pops out of the hands of Amateur, and then he makes the catch.
It's a decent strike, but the goalkeeper seemed to read it nice and early. He was waiting for it. Big ball down the pitch, which has Tampa Bay scrambling, but confidence there from Ollie Bassett. Good to see.
Scored 4 goals last season in the Canadian Premier League with Atletico Ottawa. 2 years ago, scored 11 goals in the Canadian Premiership.
And he won the Golden Boot that year, I believe, yeah. Too bad. Started at Aston Villa, so some good grounding there in the English Premier League. An Irish youth international at U19 level.
Rodriguez has his arms out. It's because away from the play, Wyke pushed him over. A little forearm shiver to the back. And my goodness, Lawrence Wyke is very fortunate that there's no VAR.
That's what Johnny Rodriguez is saying. And Lawrence Wyke, even when he was at Phoenix Rising, he can be a bit of a hothead, and you can see already here his players are telling him just calm down, relax. Because now he's got the referee's attention. So if he makes any late tackles here, then he's going to be in trouble.
This has been an elongated conversation that's lasted a majority of the first half between Wyke and our referee, Brandon Stevens. Completely blindsided Rodriguez.
Well, if you are Johnny Rodriguez, you can work on that. You would, oh,
there he goes again.
And that's what they're saying, it's him again. He's walking on thin ice here, but if you're Johnny Rodriguez, I would take the ball and target him. I keep running at him because you can see that Lawrence Wyke is all fired up here and liable to maybe lunge him when he shouldn't. He's still going on.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if Robbie Nielsen likes this or is horrified at the moment. Another really poor challenge.
That to me is a yellow card. He's missed the ball completely, but
McPherson clears meanwhile as Vegas can't quite get into the penalty area. Good pressure meanwhile by Pasillas, keeping Amateur and company at bay. They're lucky to get a goal kick out of that. Gives us time to tell you that Lights fans, you can scan the QR code on your screen now for more. The official protein drink of your Las Vegas Lights. DrinkPromino.com is the place to go. Besides that beautiful QR code, the other thing that you can't see at the moment on the screen is a giant target above Lawrence Wyke's head at the moment. He's really playing with fire for the Rowdies right now.
Yeah, it's good to have passion, absolutely. It's good to be brave and to be physical, but you've got to know when to switch it on and switch it off. And you can see his own teammates just trying to calm him down, saying, keep it cool, bide your time. We were always taught you can get your own back. Just pick the right moment to do it. And clearly he had about 2 or 3 moments there where he could have got himself in trouble.
He ended well to win that off of Rodriguez. It's going to trickle past Bassett and out of play after they tried to link up with Arteaga on the edge of the Lights penalty area. It's always that balance, right? You want your players to be fired up and ready to go, but you also don't want them to step over the edge when it comes to the referee.
It's a fine balance, and people watching at home might say, well, they should behave themselves. But when you're in the heat of battle, sometimes your emotions can get carried away, and it takes a lot of experience and a lot of control to keep a lid on it.
As Kona looks to lead Las Vegas up the other end here, Chata lost his balance and ends up giving the ball away. Guillen couldn't find Bassett. Nigro on the scene, and it's all the way back to Amateur. He's got a teammate in Nate Jones to help him out. Noel, wonderful passer of the ball for the Lights, pulling the strings here. Gennaro Nigro. Time and space for Noel to operate. He slides it through up ahead for Pinzon, who furthers the pass up ahead for Joe Zhao. Ascona's in the middle, Rodriguez is in the middle. Zhao lays it off. First time ball in looking for Rodriguez is headed clear only as far as Noel. Reset for Gartig and Jones. Jones sprays it looking for Zhao. All he can do is head it in for Guillen. Rodriguez, little layoff. And then I think it's a follow-through from Chata that gives the Rowdies a free kick.
Yeah, there was no bad intention there from Chata. They were just both going for the ball. The referee does give him a warning and say, just be careful. Let's have a look at it again. You can see Chata thinks he's going to get the ball, and his right leg just follows through. Hear a Scottish accent shouting in the background. They're going to assume that's Robbie Nielsen. I was laughing when we were chatting to him that the Scottish accent, when it's a proper one like he has, can be very difficult to understand. I've had friends of mine before say, American friends say, is he speaking English? But my old manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, was from Aberdeen, and wow, I'd be in team talk sometimes and I'd be struggling to understand what he was saying. I just nod my head. So I hope the whole Tampa Bay squad are fluent in the Scottish accent and can understand exactly what their coach is asking for.
They'll be hearing a lot of it. Nielsen and McPherson both in the, yes. In the team. "10 minutes plus stoppage time left in what's been a very interesting half. Opening night, the 2025 USL Championship season. And right on cue, another shot comes in, blocked out for another corner for Tampa Bay.
That was Ollie Bassett again, and long way out, but he turned and hit it really well. Robbie Nielsen there just asking questions of the fourth official. But he certainly has been a live wire, has Ollie Bassett, in this first half.
Another Richard Harris law firm corner. Can someone take the bull by the horns here at the end of the first half? Bassett to deliver. Goes right towards the back stick, and Amateur actually lost it out of his gloves. Arteaga picks up the pieces. Tries to clip it back. Centrally, it was blocked. And again, Arteaga follows up, only for Noel to send it ahead.
There's a bit of shirt tugging going on when that corner came in, and there is no VAR, but you take that into games where there is VAR, you're going to get yourself into bad habits and trouble there. So I'm going to keep an eye on corners a little bit more closely throughout this match, because I could definitely see one or two players having their jerseys tugged, and that's such a dangerous thing to do in the box. If the referee spots you, that's an immediate penalty, you would think.
Macias holding up the play. Crisostomo out wide, a little back and forth there with Bassett. Guillen. McPherson comes back to get it. Wyke. Forced back. And may have left another little push as he let the ball go. McPherson again, two on him, and he's tripped up by Noel. Free kick.
You see Lawrence Wyke is complaining because he got a shove in the throat there. It's almost as if the Las Vegas players, as I said, they're targeting him now. And I think it was Ascone, they just put out a hand and gave him a shove, and they're just trying to wind him up to see if he'll overreact.
Good ball played down the line by Bodley. Bassett cutting in field. And then thought that Bodley was closer to him than he was. Ends up giving the ball away. Both teams still trying to figure a few things out in the final third in this first half. Bodley's been very active. Picks out Arteaga. McPherson for Bassett on the far side. And then Bodley tries to catch up to it, does get the cross in, clear only as far as McPherson. Bassett bends one, looking for Wyke, and finds the out-of-bounds territory. It's a goal kick.
Hey, watch the ball.
Robbie Nielsen, not thrilled. Something that will thrill you is that if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. USL All Access on Tuesday nights, of course, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. It'll give you that hug that you're looking for throughout the week.
The hug that Robbie Nielsen was talking about. Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, there's some dark arts taking place in the box and set pieces, and they're getting away with it, Las Vegas Lights, because obviously the referee can't see everything. Robbie Nielsen's appealing to the fourth official to say maybe the assistant refs on the side should get involved, but it's so difficult at set pieces. It's hard to see who's pulling who. And don't forget, there's often the striker who's pulling the defender as well.
Here come the Rowdies. This is Arteaga. Doesn't quite have his shooting boots on. It goes out for a goal kick. Mid-season, that likely goes on target. He's been such an expert marksman, Arteaga, for multiple clubs. We talked about his time with Phoenix earlier. He's been an excellent addition for the Rowdies in his second season with Tampa Bay.
There's 3 caps for Venezuela as well. So that's not easy to get. That's a very decent footballing country.
Noel. Try to link up with Rodriguez. It's a loose touch. Back it goes to Tampa Bay. Certainly a game for fans that like to see animation on the respective touchlines, that's for sure.
Nocerino was warned to get back from the touchline because he was blocking the thrower.
Almost became the 12th man for a second there.
But he's good enough. I think he's still good enough now to play, probably.
I would agree with that. Saw his resume earlier at the top of the broadcast. Here's Wyke. Forced to go back to Castellanos, the Rowdies returnee this season. Guillen. Almost can't remember the last time the Rowdies have had an 11 without Aaron Guillen in there. He's been so pivotal, a cornerstone piece for them. Castellanos. Rowdies have probably just edged it as far as chances go in this first half. Looking to Bodley quite a bit to create on this far side. Again, though, his cross just a little bit under hit. And then coming together there, Guillen committing the foul on Pinzon allows the Lights to alleviate the pressure.
Pinzon cleverly leaning back into him as well. Another one of those where 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but he gets the free kick to go his way. But just nice to see there was no nastiness afterwards. Players just getting on with it.
eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Can Vegas create something up the other end here? They've been pegged back a few times, or pinned back more like it. Last few minutes.
Again, to be fair to them, they've got sort of 6 or 7 which you consider regular first teamers not available. And some wonderful talent amongst those players, and the likes of a Coleman Gannon could be so useful now. Sean Smart bombing up that right wing back position. Malik Howell, Budadi, and Peters, who I don't know much about him except that he was in the Juventus Youth, so you've got to fancy his good as well. So all key players are just not available here tonight for Las Vegas Lights.
And that's on top of some of the other players that Vegas didn't see return. Charlie Adams moved on, went to the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Multiple players left because of a loan ending. JC Ngannou, Usman Jabang, Grayson Duty as well. All players that were key cogs, Ngannou in particular, during Vegas' season a year ago. Joe Hafferty was sold for a record fee to Lexington. Talked about Corey Bennett earlier. moved on to Kuwait. Al Nasser on a record transfer fee, and Solomon Asante, a veteran presence in the team. Emra Clementa, another player that helped with depth as well, also not back with the team. So not just some of those bigger names like a Corey Bennett, even some of the depth pieces not back for the Lights either, on top of the absentees tonight.
So maybe a draw here today is not a bad result for Las Vegas Lights under the circumstances, if they should get a draw.
All things for Antonio Nocerino to have to navigate in the Lights preseason. And tonight, of course.
Well, to be fair, Tampa Bay did lose Jordan Farr to DC United. Top keeper. You mentioned Cal Jennings already, but they have brought the majority of they've been able to keep the majority of their top players, to be fair. And to get Forrest Lasso back after the ACL tear last year is like having an extra player, the 3 times USL Defender of the Year.
You mentioned earlier, Gary, he's on the bench. He trained this week, Robbie Nielsen was telling us earlier in the week. We were both kind of expecting the worst when we talked to Robbie Nielsen about that, but great to hear that Forrest Lasso is back in the fold. A lot of Rowdies fans will be thrilled to hear that. As we enter first half stoppage time, the Lawrence Wyke show continues, and there's going to be a free kick for the Rowdies. 1 additional minute to be added on. Big set piece for the Lights to defend in the dying embers of the first half here, opening night in the USL Championship. McPherson to deliver. Could be the last act of the half. McPherson's ball in is a teasing one, and Arteaga was brought down, couldn't really square it up. 1 or 2 Rowdies asking the referee the questions here. Amateur gets the ball in the end.
It looks like Gartig is marking him, and they both going for the ball, both go down together. Gartig perhaps feels he was brought down. It's a big unit to fall on top of you if you're Arteaga.
That indeed was the last act of the first half. An intriguing first half, to say the least. 0-0 ends up being the scoreline after the dust settles, Gary.
Yeah, not much in terms of goalmouth action, really. Neither goalkeeper being truly tested, but you can see some good play in midfield and a little bit of bumping heads going on, which could build in the second half.
We'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as the first half shifts into the second half. Final game of opening night in the 2025 USL Championship season. 2 teams with very high hopes for this upcoming campaign, locked in a stalemate here in Vegas with a big 45 minutes still to come in Nevada. We'll step aside for now. Halftime is next. Tonight's match is brought to you by Desert Radiology and Comprehensive Cancer Centers. 0-0 at the half between the Rowdies and the Lights, just off the Vegas Strip. We had a chance to catch up with some of the Lights players about their favorite memories from Cashman Field.
The game against Sacramento.
Playoff win last year.
Sacramento.
Definitely Sacramento.
Inolvidable.
Best memory at Cashman was, for me, definitely the game against Sacramento in the playoff, first round. You know, just with the length of the game, extra time, PKs. We have Raiko saving 3 PKs. Like, the atmosphere was great. A lot of people here. And just being able to share that moment with many people and good people on the field, like, it was just a special moment.
Yeah, my favorite memory at Cashman Field most definitely our playoff win last year. You know, having a jam-packed stadium, able to win on penalties, really dominating the game, and obviously moving on to the next round of the playoffs. Really exciting, really I think you could see by our celebrations and obviously being able to make history with this club.
When we won the pens against Sacramento.
Definitely Sacramento. Right here winning them quarterfinals and PKs. Very emotional game. Definitely.
Mi recuerdo favorito fue la semifinal, cuando ganamos a penal. Fue un gran partido y una gran tanda de penal para mí. Fue algo inolvidable.
Well, certainly a memory that these Lights fans will remember for quite some time during that magical playoff run last season. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll have news and notes and more from around the USL Championship coming up next. Tonight's halftime is presented by the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Remember to change your watering clocks for spring, water plants and trees up to 2 days a week. Fantastic sights and scenes here in Vegas. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, your entire crew. Happy to have you with us to open up the USL Championship season. And of course, we have to highlight the upcoming national broadcast in 2025, not just on ESPN, but on the CBS television network. And of course, here on CBS Sports Golazo as well. And one of the new wrinkles this season is the USL Championship being involved in the Jägermeister Cup. It was only the League One teams last season. Now the championship teams get involved. Going to be thrilling to see how all of that plays out. And then, of course, Lexington, we'll get to them again in a moment. They debuted in the championship earlier on tonight. Oakland going to open up soon at the Coliseum on March 22nd, and then a brand new stadium for Rhode Island as well.
By the way, Oakland are 3-0 down against Orange County at the Coliseum. It's not the best of starts for them.
We'll get to more of that in a moment. Nationally televised games coming up. Get used to San Antonio being on here. 3 home games for them. Big one, April 6th, 4 Eastern against Phoenix on CBS. Definitely tune in for that. Birmingham, El Paso, April 13th. And of course, that'll be on CBS Sports Network. Oakland at the Coliseum in May as well, another one to look out for. Big Saturday to open up the USL Championship season in 2025. Big wins for Lexington in their debut, Detroit, Louisville, San Antonio, and how about Loudoun going to Birmingham? They win by 3-1, Gary.
That's a real surprise. Birmingham Legion have brought some really good players, including Danny Trejo. Maybe taking a while for them to settle in. San Antonio, good start for them after a terrible season, but Lou City going away to Charleston Battery. That's a win that says, hey, we're going to be the team to beat in the East once again.
Really impressive from Louisville. El Paso and Colorado Springs, switchbacks to the defending champs, 2-2 draw in Texas. How about Tulsa? They go to Phoenix. They win by 1-0. You mentioned Orange County all over the Roots at the moment, and a good heavyweight clash there. Neil Collins returning to Sac Republic. They lead Dennis Sanchez's New Mexico United by 2-1.
There you go. 2 very good coaches coming head-to-head. So, wow, what a good start to the new season in the USL.
Really excited to see how those games play out. And, of course, we got the nightcap here in Vegas. It's a stalemate between the Lights and the Rowdies. Can't wait and can't believe, really, the season is back. We're excited for it, and the second half is coming up just around the corner. Nil fittingly, the scoreline at the half, but you look at the stats, quite a few shots for the Rowdies, 2 on target as well. They have the possession edge so far, but as you hinted at, Gary, chances were kind of sprinkled through the first 45 minutes.
And if you ever look at the expected goals, which gives you the measure of these efforts, 0.07 for Las Vegas and 0.17 for Tampa Bay. I mean, basically it's saying that they weren't going to score in the first half, and that's what it seemed like. It seemed like, you know, testing each other out, getting into the season, but I'm hoping second half, especially from Tampa Bay, have a full-strength squad, that they're going to really get going and give us something to enjoy.
There's almost too much talent on both sides, even with all the Vegas absentees out there, for that not to happen in the second half. Certainly Edison Kona, a bright spot for the Lights in that first half as well. Again, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, a ton of notables for the Lights that moved on, but obviously some that are with the squad that are just injured or, of course, not here due to visa problems tonight. So Antonio Nocerino certainly had to shake a few things up with the lineup so far, but 0-0 is the scoreline. Still all out there to play for in the second half here on opening night.
I think a lot depends on the likes of Valentin Noel for Las Vegas Lights, Edison Kona. The more sort of experienced players, Johnny Rodriguez can turn it on, he can score. And Joe Zhao is 32 years of age, the oldest player on this Las Vegas lineup.
Team switch sides at the start of the second half. The Rowdies will go from right to left, and we're back underway. 0-0, Cashman Fields, Las Vegas, Nevada, kicking off the 2025 USL Championship season. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, thrilled to be with you. Final game of opening night between two teams that have, once again, very lofty aspirations for this upcoming championship season. As we highlighted, a few chances, mostly half chances in that first half. Rowdies, as we talked about earlier, trying to improve on what was a frustrating road record for them last season. Just 4 wins in 18 away from Al Lang last season. They're going to be away from Al Lang for a while. So we'll see if Robbie Nielsen's bunch can get a result tonight. And Vegas, again, the adversity that they're going through with all the absentees. See if they can get a home result to get a good boost at the start of their season, coming off a wonderful campaign in 2024.
Yeah, we did ask Robbie Nielsen about these 4 matches away from Al Lang while the stadium is being fixed up, refurbished, rebuilt, whatever the story is after the storms of last year. And he said, you know what, we play an equal number at home and away. If we play 4 away, we'll get 4 at home. He said, I'm not bothered by it one way or another. And I think it's a pretty good attitude to take towards these matches. Certainly if Tampa Bay Rowdies get a win in their first away game, it sets them up maybe to go and get some more wins. You lose your first one away, doubts start to creep in, you've got more tough away matches. And if you look at the games coming up, they're not insurmountable. Tulsa away, Miami FC away. Oh, then they've got Charleston Battery away. So that could be so you want to have a few wins under your belt before you go to Charleston, I would think.
We talked about earlier, that's going to be a rematch of last year's conference semi. A reunion with the Rowdies and Cal Jennings as well early on in the season. Just another one of many to circle on your early USL Championship calendars at home. I believe not too far away in our future, the Lights are going to play New Mexico. I think that might be next week. And Dennis Sanchez quickly will have a reunion with his former employers. That's, well, a week from tonight here at Cashman. The Lights and New Mexico. A lot of really good games to help kick off the season. We highlighted earlier Louisville going to Charleston and grinding out a 2-1 win. Really nice victory for Danny Cruz's side. Early sign of things to come potentially in the East. We'll have to wait and see on that, but Louisville will be delighted with their start to the season. And I think the other result to highlight, we talked about it earlier, Loudoun on the road, beating a Birmingham team that everyone are expecting big things from this season. Well, Ryan Martin's side win 3-1 in Alabama tonight.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they won their first 2 last season and got off to a good start.
Chance here for Tampa Bay. Ooh, and at the very end of that sequence, Pasillas not able to control it for the Rowdies on his debut. And Valentin Noel striding forward for Las Vegas up the other end. It's what he does best. McPherson takes him down and picks up a yellow card.
I don't think you can have any doubts about that yellow card. It's a lovely run from Valentin Noel. He had his ankles tipped just before that as well. Such a come there. He just manages one tackle, and this one here, I think McPherson knows he's going to be late. Unnecessary tackle, unless you're taking it for the team, unless you feel there wasn't cover, but I could see 2 green jerseys waiting there. That's the quality there of Valentin Noel, the captain of this Las Vegas Lights side.
First yellow card for either side puts Vegas in a decent position to create from a set piece here. It's going to be Nigro and Pinzon. Assessing the scene here for the lights. Nigro's ball in, headed away by Wyke. Macias helping it along for Arteaga, who's beaten to it by Joe Zhao. It's a chance for Blake Bodley to pick up the pieces here. Arteaga. He's going to be held up. Zhao and company, everybody getting around Arteaga. And in the end, Vegas handled the situation just about.
A little bit physical there from Manuel Arteaga. He was pushing and pulling on Zhao. Maybe not enough to get a yellow card, but again, given the first half and the issues with Lawrence Wyke, I think Tampa Bay have to tread carefully now. They've already got McPherson in the book.
Well, coming together there. Wyke brought down. It's going to be a Rowdies free kick, as Kona tried to make some headway. The Las Vegas Lights are proud to be working with Desert Radiology as their official imaging partner for this 2025 season. Castellanos for the Rowdies. Wyke, lovely ball through for Neon Gabiri, who has some time and space here for Tampa Bay. It's still Neon Gabiri! And he flashes it just wide of Amateur's goal. Lovely run.
Judging by his reaction, it didn't go too far wide because he's holding his head in his hands. He thought that might have sneaked in. Lovely run. The defenders peel away looking for others. Oh, that is close. Maybe in the end, a yard wide, but he's hit it with pace, and you can see Nick Amateur scrambling to get across his goal.
With Bassett's shot in the first half, that might be the closest the Rowdies have come tonight, opening their account for the season.
Yeah, those expected goals figures of 0.07 for Las Vegas and 0.17. Not the best, and it really shows that they didn't, from an attacking point of view, neither side produced much in the first half. Interesting crosses, 3 for the home side, 14 for Tampa Bay. We were talking about first half, how they seem to be using Blake Bodley in particular to get down that line, whipping crosses for Arteaga and Macias.
McPherson will switch the point of the attack. Wyke is on it. The Rowdies trying to make it 5 out of 5 against the Lights in the all-time series. And Bassett is going to run out of room there. Being good defensive work at the back by Nate Jones. For the Lights, it's a goal kick. Wyke with the pressure. And then Neon Gabiri, Macias all helping out. Lights just clip it over the top. And Castellanos' header comes up short. Noel up ahead here. Joe Zhao. Still Zhao going towards the byline here and manhandled by Bodley. And the referee is going to give a goal kick. Antonio Nocerino beside himself on the near side touchline here. Can't believe a foul wasn't called.
I think he's got a point. I mean, Blake Bodley leans in. Oh. It's hard to be 100% certain, but it looked as if Blake Bodley had tackled into Joe Zhao. Wasn't much attempt made to play the ball, put it that way, but there's no way you can take the coach's word for it, because no matter which coach it is, they're only biased towards their player.
Nielsen and Antonio Nocerino are raring to go. My goodness. Both of them have been very animated from the opening whistle.
I think it's a huge season for them both. I mean, Robbie Nielsen didn't achieve the success he wanted last season. He knows as well as anyone else, if he doesn't achieve it this season, then he could be under all sorts of pressure, given the talent he has and the expectations of Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Las Vegas Lights, how do you follow Dennis Sanchez in a Western Conference final, especially after the season that Nocerino had with Miami FC? So you can understand both managers feeling the heat, and obviously it's coming through in their energy and their passion online.
Rowdies turn to try to attack. Good step, though, by Joe Zhao. Pinzon under heavy pressure. Ball was deflected high into the air. Arteaga tries to hold it up. Still Arteaga surrounded. And Casillas just swung a boot at it. Amateur is going to make an easy catch. Calmer Nocerino for now, at least. Sees Pinzon.
Just for the moment.
Just for a moment.
Yeah, stick around. I think there's a lot more to happen in this match.
Lovely ball clipped over the top here. Maybe a chance to get on the end of this. Neon Gabiri with some good pressure, but in the end, the Lights will reset with Nigro for Noel. Pinzon was asking for it in the middle of the park. Maybe one too many dribbles from Azcona, though he was fouled by Neon Gabiri.
Yeah, little tugs each time, and I think the referee by the third tug had said, okay, that's a free kick. Now, we have spoken about fitness problems for Las Vegas Lights, but we've got to mention Leo Fernandez got a hamstring problem for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Young Endri Mustali and Joey Skinner also injured, so three important players there that could play a role in future games.
You said it, Gary. Leo Fernandez in particular, big returnee for the Rowdies this season. As Arteaga on the defensive side of things does enough to hold off the advances of Nate Jones. A little role reversal for those two there. To throw in for the Rowdies, as we tell you that Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, as always, is the player's choice. Azcona stepped in. This is Joe Zhao. Zhao will cross this into the middle. Lawrence Wykes header away, guarding Rodriguez, and then Arteaga tries to help it along, but it falls kindly for Azcona. Lovely spin into traffic. No foul call. Rowdies clear it for Bodley on the near side. And Tampa Bay have a slight chance to move this forward, but Bodley thinks better of it and resets. McPherson gliding past a couple of challenges, and McPherson pokes one towards goal, and it's just wide of Amateur's post.
That's a good run from McPherson. You could see what he was trying to do. Once he got past the two defenders, got to the edge of the box, he gets past one here, then gets to the edge of the box. He wants to bend it, but he just doesn't connect with it. It's more of a pass than a shot. He needed to get more whip and more power on it, but the idea was good, and the run was good. I think he's doing more runs than some of the players.
So just a little glimpse of why Robbie Nielsen really likes Cammy McPherson and feels he's a really big key to the Rowdies season. Castellanos pinging one up ahead. Casillas doing everything he can to hold off challenges from Jack Singer. And in the end, the ball goes out of play. Another little coming together there. Guillen thought he was fouled and clipped. Just going to be a Rowdies throw. Referee had a brief word with him. On we go. Bodley. Space to run into, but Zhao steps in. Only as far as Bassett. And Bassett tries to shoot. Blocked away. the Lights get it up the other end, though. No is the answer. Wyke there to reset for Tampa Bay. Ian controls as we approach the hour mark here in Vegas.
It still could go either way. I mean, with Johnny Rodriguez up front, you've only got to give him some service, and no reason why Las Vegas can't score. But you do get the sense that Tampa Bay are just getting us a little bit more control of the match. They need Valentin Noel on the ball to Las Vegas Lights.
Mike lays it off. Cross takes a deflection off the boot of Neon Gabiri, and it's going to be a Tampa Bay corner on the far side. Again, corners tonight brought to you by Richard Harris Law Firm. Another opportunity from a set piece here for Tampa.
Lawrence Wyke still having words with the ref. He felt he was tripped up. Referee didn't see it that way. Conversation continues.
I think there might be a doubt as to whether Wyke and Stevens will be sending each other Christmas cards later this year, but that's for another day. Another big set-piece opportunity here for Tampa Bay. McPherson will stand over it. Goes right to the center. Oh, Arteaga got onto his bike, but completely missed it. Bassett picks up the pieces, tries to fizz one back in there, poked away. Well, you thought for a moment that Arteaga lined it up really well, but he completely missed it. And it goes out of play in the end after the dust settles.
But maybe if this was the middle of the season, he might have been a bit closer, but it's quite ambitious. Lots of pushing and shoving in the box there, then goes to the overhead kick. The thing is, his foot's so high that even if he connects, would the referee have allowed it? It was right in Elias Gartik's face, so that's always the tricky thing with overhead kicks in the box, is the danger element.
Bassett and Bodley again trying to link up. As Kona able to save it, but only as far as Castellanos. Updated look at shots and shots on target. I don't think shots on target has changed since the first half ended. Few more chances, but again, still looking for that clear-cut moment from both sides, really.
And I think that's exactly what it is. It's one thing having shots, but shots that don't really test the goalkeeper don't mean much. There needs to be a much bigger quality around the edge of the box. In terms of expected goals, Tampa Bay's up to 0.24 from 0.17, not much. Las Vegas still at 0.07, so they really haven't fashioned any chances as yet. Maybe it's a game in which they'll be happy to take the 0-0, given how many players are out injured.
Crisostomo, former Lights player, finds Bassett on this near side. Bassett's ball in is well placed. It wasn't definitively cleared, and the Rowdies will shepherd that out for a corner. Crisostomo followed up, and it's another quick corner for the Rowdies. They take it quickly. Bodley. Guillen. McPherson! An amateur, again, just like he did in the first half, knocked it down and then collects.
That's a decent effort from McPherson. It's got power, and you can see that by the fact the goalkeeper couldn't hold it. It's on target. Those are the two things you're looking for. And in the end, it wasn't. I mean, it's very difficult to score from out there. You've got to put it in the top corner. But still, it's a positive effort. It's what you like to see as a coach. Something that tests the opposition goalkeeper.
A couple of good McPherson moments in the attacking third for the Rowdies the last 5 minutes or so. Bounce in behind for Amateur. Two other live games going on right now. We talked about Orange County earlier. They're still 3-0 up over Oakland. New Mexico are actually down to 10 men at the moment at Sac Republic. Neil Collins' side still up by 2-1. All the other games today have gone final, of course. Still looking for our first goal here. Bassett gets a kind bounce off of Chata. Ali Bassett thought about taking on the shot. His shot was blocked away. Guillen follows up, and Amateur is on the scene. Ascona hasn't been on the ball as much in this second half. Pinzon, hopeful ball up ahead. Bodley steps in really well. Rowdies had the numbers all the way. Crisostomo. Bassett. And Bodley, little ball through for Pasillas. And Pasillas is dealt with. It's a goal kick.
I believe there's some subs being made. Now, we're just having a look at the subs bench to see, because now is normally the time when the managers do start to make changes. In this case, it's Las Vegas.
Right on, Gary. It is going to be a Vegas change. Joe Zhao is going to exit. And Shaft Brewer Jr. enters the fray for the Lights, making his Vegas debut. 30 appearances for North Carolina. The USL Championship last season, did score a goal, and of course, played quite a few seasons, 2 to be exact. 39 appearances for Union Omaha. In USL League One, the Giants in that 3rd division.
They still have Knight Pickering on the bench, the youngster from Memphis who's really useful.
Pasillas tried to turn, not once but twice, had his shot blocked. And the Rowdies recycle the play all the way back to Capisi.
Just looking at the Rowdies bench, Lewis Hilton, maybe some fresh legs there. He always is able to make things happen. Forrest Lasso, if you want somebody big in defense to come up for set pieces. Nick Moon, good options there. And sometimes it's just getting fresh legs on the pitch and a different approach that can turn the game in your favor.
Nate Worth certainly capable of being a difference maker as well, to your point, Gary. And have a very bright future ahead of him. I think Nate Worth actually scored one of the goals, if not the goal of the season last year in the USL Championship. Has very good qualities. Castellanos, meanwhile, for Guillen. Bassett. Does feel like it's been a little bit more one-way traffic in this second half. Crisostomo. Arteaga. Wyke. Wyke's ball in is blocked away. Out for a throw.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, they need to get Valentin Noel on the ball more often. I think Las Vegas, you're right, they're losing the control of the game. It's almost as if they're being the away side, happy with the draw. And if anyone's can turn it around, once Noel's on the ball, he can run at players, get past them, make things happen, and try and get Johnny Rodriguez an opportunity.
Ball was poked forward by Crisostomo. Again, it's cut out. Bassett follows up for Tampa Bay, not once but twice. The Lights, however, will keep it.
Now, the pressure's on in terms of the press as well. You can see how quickly Tampa Bay Rowdies closed down. Even here, 4 green shirts will make it very difficult for Las Vegas, but they've pushed numbers forward. They've not allowed Las Vegas to play out of their own half in the last 10, 15 minutes or so. And it's working well for the Rowdies. They really are controlling the game.
Ball just about stayed in play for Brewer Jr. Tries to follow up again, but Bodley's header down this near side. Rodriguez. Now Noel. Noel a little outside of the boot pass up ahead. Ascona could not control it. And McPherson and company have it back for the Rowdies. Bobby Nielsen might be giving some instructions to a potential Rowdies substitute. We'll get to that in a moment. Bassett. Crisostomo. Has space to run into here. Wyke on the overlap. Bassett back to Wyke. Little give and go here. Weich's ball across for Arteaga. Couldn't get around it. Bassett looks to recycle. McPherson, loose touch.
That was a really good ball in from Weich. That gave Arteaga something to work with. He couldn't beat the defender in the end, but it was a tempting cross, and that's exactly what Robbie Nielsen will be looking for. He got it from Blake Bodily first half. He needs more of it from Lawrence Weich in the second half. And that was a fantastic bit of football there from the right fullback.
Bodily, meanwhile, lovely skill here. Finds Arteaga. And while Arteaga looking for space, Crisostomo fires it wide, maybe took a deflection on the way through there. It is going to be a corner. Meanwhile, while the Rowdies get set for a corner here, Richard Harris Law Firm corner to be exact, they are preparing a change. We'll get to that in a moment. Just under 20 minutes of the 90 to go here. McPherson to deliver. To the back stick, it is going to be just about headed clear, then volleyed back through by Neon Gabiri. And somehow nobody in that sea of legs got a touch onto that. It's a goal kick.
That's a decent strike, lots of power behind it, but that's about the third or fourth time now there's been a strike that either has gone wide of goal or has gone straight at the keeper. Good ball into the box, headed clear, but hits us on the volley. And you're right, it could hit anybody, end up back of the net. Living a little bit dangerously, Las Vegas Lights.
We told you the Rowdies were getting a change ready. Wubens Pasillas has been taken out. And another Rowdy cornerstone piece, Lewis Hilton, is back in there. He's had a wonderful career with Tampa Bay. Another player that always seems to be a first name on the team sheet kind of guy. Well, his 2025 debut begins here.
I think they'll probably push Cammy McPherson up a little bit higher. Lewis Hilton behind him. Two good midfielders pulling the strings. They've still got Arteaga as their main striker. They've still got Ollie Bassett up front. So even with Pasillas off, they've got good options.
The press from the Rowdies here trying to force a Vegas miscue. Amateurs able to get it clear. Then an early ball looking for Rodriguez. It's going to be tracked down by Castellanos. There's a foul there and a yellow card for Edison Ascona on the far side. First Vegas player to get a yellow.
He's been nibbling at Weich. Two of them, yeah. And Weich fed up with it. Eventually the yellow comes, and that's what, you put pressure on the referee, which Weich has been doing, complaining non-stop. Well, sometimes you get that reward, you get the other person into trouble. So I guess all said and done, clever play by Lawrence Weich.
Substitution, meanwhile, for Vegas. Chata is going to make way. And a Las Vegas Lights debut for Christopher Pearson, the Jamaican international. Played with Columbus Crew 2 in MLS Next Pro last season. He's played in the USL Championship on 2 separate occasions, both with FC Tulsa. So he makes his Lights debut here tonight. McPherson trying to fit it through for Arteaga. Arteaga never gave up on it, slid in behind. And Rodriguez nudging it forward. And it's not the best of clearances. It's going to fall in behind for Pinzon, who takes the gift and scores Vegas' first goal of the season.
Unbelievable. There hasn't had a thing to do, Nicholas Campisi. Not a single thing to do the entire match. And this goes horribly wrong for him. So tough for the Argentinian goalkeeper there. Tries to clear it. Smacks it into his captain, Aaron Guillen. and it falls perfectly for Las Vegas Lights. You couldn't have thought of anything worse for the Argentinian goalkeeper. Not sure what he was doing trying to knock it out wide as such. Just booted up into the air. And then, of course, nice and easy for Christian Pinzon. Empty net. You're not going to get an easier finish than that. And against all odds, they've been really struggling in the second half, Las Vegas Lights. They get an absolute gift and a horrendous start for Nicolas Campisi in goals for Tampa Bay Rowdies, and just so unlucky in so many ways. But Antonio Nocerino and his men will take it, no doubt about that.
Christian Pinzon scored 4 goals for Vegas last season, some timely ones as well. He opens the Las Vegas account for 2025. I think Las Vegas might be the best place to say this. Sometimes you just gotta buy a ticket because you might just win the raffle. And Vegas has the lead with 15 minutes to go. Incredible.
Well, they've done nothing in the second half to deserve it. We're just saying they need to get on the ball and get Valentin Noel and try and create an opportunity. So it really was a gift. Now the question is, can they hold on to it and get all 3 points?
The Rowdies have not exactly made clear-cut opportunities happen that often, but it certainly happens very much against the run of play in the second half.
And it's a disaster for the goalkeeper. He's on debut. He's had nothing to do. You know, if you've had a fantastic game, made a ton of saves, and you make a mistake, it's one thing. But when you haven't had a single thing to do, and the only thing you do is kick the ball into your captain and it bounces straight for the opposition to score, that's wow, that's a tough debut.
Wyke to McPherson. Can Tampa Bay make up for it here? Neon Gabiri's ball in. Arteaga swung a boot at it, but sends it over the top and out. It's a goal kick for the Lights as Antonio Nocerino looks on. Well, hey Lights fans, scan the QR code on the screen for more on the official protein drink of your Las Vegas Lights. DrinkPromino.com is the place to go. Up the other end here, Rodriguez with the hold-up play. He's brought down. It's the first major challenge Lewis Hilton has been a part of, and it's a Lights free kick.
No rush now for Las Vegas, now that they're in the lead. I don't think they're going to be in a hurry. They want to work this clock down, even though there's 13 minutes or so left.
Brewer Jr. towards the corner, 2 men on him, and actually opens up the space here for Azcona. Azcona probing, and Azcona dispossessed. Crisostomo and company able to get it out of harm's way for now. Hilton, early ball looking for Neon Gabiri, who's trying to outpace Nigro on the far side. Nearly beat him to it. Who's it last off of? It's a goal kick. Ooh. Actually, the center referee has overruled the assistant referee. It's a corner in the end.
Which he's entitled to do. Valentin Noel asking the question. Referee has the final say, but it would be controversial if Tampa Bay got an equalizer from this, but it's all part of the game.
Tampa Bay will make a change here. Crisostomo on his Vegas return exits. And we get to see Nick Moon enter the fray for the Rowdies here. 13 appearances last season, former Indy and San Diego Loyal standout, the 28-year-old. The Richard Harris Law Firm corner. Tampa Bay desperate here to get on level terms. McPherson's ball in is dangerous. Castellanos' header high into the air. Guillen as well, and then it was headed away before Neon Gabiri could get on the end of it for the Rowdies.
Wow, all the Rowdies fans just keeping fingers crossed that something will go in somewhere. I can tell you the one person who's got his fingers crossed more than anybody else is goalkeeper Nicolas Campisi. If you go on and win this 2-1, everyone in the locker room will say, well, yeah, just don't do it again. But if it's the only goal of the game, it will not be forgotten. So the goalkeeper just absolutely praying that his team come up with a couple of goals here tonight in this last 10 minutes.
Vegas again will clear it. Again, Rodriguez couldn't quite hold it up. Hilton finds Blake Bodley. Bodley's been very positive for the Rowdies tonight. Hilton. Castellanos. Time and space for Lawrence Wyke. And Wyke's ball in was dangerous, but it was flicked over the top by Neon Gabiri, out for a goal kick. Ticking down on the final 10 minutes here. Of course, Vegas out in front, but we've been keeping an eye on Antonio Nocerino, Antonio Cam, here in Las Vegas. Some of the sights and sounds from his night on the touchline in his Vegas debut. My goodness, has he been animated.
He's putting more energy into this game than some of the players are. He really is fighting every little battle out there, Antonio Nocerino.
Been taking up duties as a ball boy here, just in case. I think he wants to win in his Vegas coaching debut, or what? He talked to us, he hammered home the point about how he wants his team to be mentally strong, constantly competing from the first whistle to the last whistle. That was the big theme of his preseason. And I think it's fair to say we've seen that in bucket loads tonight so far.
Absolutely, we have some good defending, the big guys in the middle there, winning header after header that's been put in by Tampa Bay Rowdies wide players.
It's going to be a foul against Shaft Brewer Jr. Goes back to Tampa Bay. Look up at the clock, and the Rowdies are running a little bit low on time here. 9 minutes plus stoppage time for Tampa Bay, trying to avoid their first ever loss at the hands of the Lights. Hilton, ooh, that might have been handled, and it was handled. Referee all over it. It's a free kick. I think that might have been Ascona, who's already been booked. Has to be a bit more careful than that. Guillen. And Bodley. Can the Rowdies unlock this Lights defense? Hilton, lovely ball for Bodley on this near side. Bodley's ball in, headed down by Neon Gabiri, and then Arteaga's header, agonizingly wide.
That's where Blake Bodley at his absolute best. Give the ball, run, get it back into space. There he goes, whips in the cross, a little bit overhead, but young Gabiri's at the far post, and he just knocks it into the ground. Difficult one for Arteaga, but it's one of the best moves we've seen this entire match. And it's not often we've had good play down the flanks and good crosses in, but that was a special moment there for Blake Bodley.
Here's Bodley again. This time it's cut out. Arteaga does well, though, and wins it back for Tampa Bay. McPherson. Wyke. Back to McPherson, and McPherson's ball in goes right to Amateur and makes the catch.
It's well overhit that from McPherson. It wasn't even close to Arteaga. Easy enough for the goalkeeper to scoop up.
Well, it was a 1-0 scoreline the last time these two teams met, but it was in the Rowdies' favor. Late goal in the 85th minute from the now departed Cal Jennings. Are we going to see the tables turn in Vegas's direction here? Pinzon's goal at the moment has the Lights in line for the points. It's still time for a late Tampa Bay twist. Hilton and McPherson again getting acclimated, and McPherson again picking his head up, trying to spray the ball forward. Hilton follows up and fouls Pinzon. It's a free kick.
Frustration there for Tampa Bay Rowdies. At 0-0, they would have been a lot more comfortable, but that mistake, the back by Nicholas Campese, just changed the entire match, obviously. His goals are what it's all about, but it's put them on the back foot. Robbie Nielsen's team now chasing. They're trying switch of plays that aren't working. They're just trying to find that moment that maybe a Cal Jennings could have bought them. Macias just not really effective up front today. Hopefully he'll settle in for Tampa Bay Rowdies, but what we've seen in this match, he really didn't have the same impact that a Cal Jennings, for example, would have.
Bodily, after Guillen was fouled, referee brings it back. Well, Guillen may have actually picked up a stinger here. Trying everything he can to keep on playing. We'll get another look at it after the Guillen was fouled and the Rowdies got the free kick.
It's a heavy fall onto his knee. I think he maybe jarred his knee, but they don't want to lose their captain. Looks like they might lose the points. Don't want to make things worse.
Guillen will look to run that off as he joins the fray for another Tampa Bay set piece, and Pinzon may have picked up a yellow after all of that as well. The free kick, it's a great ball again in by Bodily, and it bounces around. Handball appeals come in from the Rowdies players. They go unanswered. Lawrence White delivers. And then on the turn, it was a brief opportunity for Nick Moon, but he never really got his bearings.
Pressure building now, isn't it? Balls coming into the box, and for the first time this entire match, Tampa Bay looking a lot sharper around the edges of the box.
Wyke again, looking for Neon Gabiri. This time the Lights do get it clear, and they could have a chance to leak out up the other end with Pinzon, who's already scored tonight. Pinzon has runners, tried to find Rodriguez. Edison has Kona cutting it back, and it's cleared by Hilton. Not definitively cleared, Noel. Oh, the Lights had a real chance to seal the points there.
Well, that's their best attack of the second half, probably the entire match. Las Vegas Lights, beautiful play on the right-hand side here from Pinzon and switching it across to the left. Fantastic play by the Lights.
Brewer Jr. to the byline, cleared out for a corner.
We haven't seen enough of this from Las Vegas Lights, but there's a switch and play, gets through, and then you'll find that Rodriguez tries to take up a position in the middle of the box for the cross. And Lewis Hilton is the one who clears it.
The yellow card, by the way, that Pinzon got, we put that in quotes, was not for him. It was actually for Shaft Brewer Jr. Some housekeeping there. So Brewer's on a yellow, Pinzon is not for the Lights. Pearson for Pinzon, who at the moment's the match winner. Ascona locked eyes with Johnny Rodriguez, didn't get it to him, holds on to possession here, and it's a lovely turn into the penalty area here. Looking for Rodriguez was Jack Singer. And then Rodriguez follows up on Castellanos to keep it at this end as we approach minute 90.
This is the best part of the match for Las Vegas from my point of view. Instead of sitting back and trying to soak up the pressure, they've gone to the other end of the pitch. They've put the pressure on Tampa Bay Rowdies. They've locked them in their half, and that's the best way to keep your score ahead at 1-0 is to keep Tampa Bay defending. They haven't managed much of that in the second half, but they're doing a really good job now in these final few minutes.
Rodriguez will hold off a couple of challenges in this corner. He does very well and wins the Lights a corner as well.
Well, given all the players they are missing, Las Vegas, this would be an incredible 3 points. No Coleman, Gannon, No Samake, Sean Smart, Malik Howell, no Budadi, no Peters, Rosarina, all missing, and they're on the verge of getting 3 points from a very good Tampa Bay Rowdies outfit.
From the corner, it's a spinning shot by Rodriguez. Oh, what a goal that would have been. But it goes wide of the target. Would have been a brilliant debut moment for him.
And a goal he's very capable of scoring. He's that good a striker. Here's Johnny Rodriguez.
The Rowdies will be anxious to see how much stoppage time is going to come up from our fourth official in the next 15 seconds here. Wyke, meanwhile, going to bring the Rowdies back here. Wyke has some space to run into, and he was fouled in the end. And I think for time wasting and kicking the ball away, there's going to be another yellow card brought out here as we jump into 3 added minutes. I think that yellow card may have been for Johnny Rodriguez. For that, little kicking of the ball away. Did not fool the referee.
The ref adds the time on, as far as I understand it, so there's no advantage to doing that. Sometimes you just feel better that you're trying to slow things down, but the referee will just simply add the time.
About 3 minutes, give or take, for the Rowdies to salvage a point here in Las Vegas. McPherson plays it short. Bassett fizzes it across over the head of Castellanos. Goal kick.
It wasn't a good cross. You could see 4 or 5 players in the middle with their arms up to Ollie Bassett saying, what was that? It looked like it could be a shot because he hit it hard, but it sort of wasn't aimed at anyone. Let's have a look at it again. Instead of just bending it in, yeah, it's bobbled and he's hit it really hard like it's a shot. It almost ended up being a cross at the far post. Robbie Nielsen not happy. He must have looked at the team sheet of Las Vegas before this and gone, all these players who haven't played before. Jack Singer, Nate Jones, Elias Gartig, only 21. It's a young back 3. We'll get at them, we'll score goals. He must have felt that all the way up until the goal was conceded. This is going to be Tampa Bay Rowdies' night.
McPherson ticking down on the final minute here. Wyke, early ball in, Arteaga heads it down. Hilton collapsed upon here. Who's it last off of? It does look like that the Rowdies are going to get a late corner here. Richard Harris Law Firm corner. We are getting into the dying embers here on opening night. Bassett will take it. Can the Rowdies equalize here? From the corner, it was actually placed pretty decently, but it's headed away only as far as Neon Gabiri. Wrestling match broke out in the middle of the penalty area. Oh, and the header off the bar from Moon. Second header blocked. Guillen's volley wide. 3 chances for the Rowdies to equalize, and Nick Moon wonders how he didn't find the back of the net.
Tell you what, Nick Moon gets up really well. This ball cleared. Again, good defending by Las Vegas Lights. When it comes across, he out-jumps goalkeeper Nick Amateur. Goalkeeper comes through with his hands. He out-jumps him, wins that ball, thumps it against the crossbar. Header or shot comes back in. But Nick Moon's so unlucky there. But once again, Las Vegas Lights winning the crosses that come in from corners and set pieces. They have been fantastic in the air at the back. Nate Jones, Elias Gartig, and Jack Singer.
It's cleared up field. Referee just had a little peek at the watch. How much more time will there be left? The answer is no more time. The Las Vegas Lights, with all the odds stacked against them, have beaten the Rowdies here on opening night. It's their first ever win at Tampa Bay's expense, and the Antonio Nocerino era begins with a brave performance and all 3 points, thanks to Christian Pinzon's first goal of the season off a vital Tampa Bay mistake. It's a huge win for the Lights on home turf.
Yes, it is a fantastic win. Absolutely top-class effort. Great defending at the back. Winning crosses, winning balls in the air. A touch of luck at the end with Nick Moon's header hitting the crossbar, but you've got to feel sorry for Nicholas Campese. He didn't have a single shot to save the entire match to the Tampa Bay Rowdies goalkeeper. His error gifts Christian Pinzon the goal, and that's what separates the two teams. I would not want to be in the locker room, or I'd not want to be Nicholas Campese in the Tampa Bay locker room now, because those players are going to be gutted. They deserved the point, you would say, on the balance of play. Tampa Bay Rowdies are going to leave with absolutely nothing, and all because of one moment from the keeper, which was unlucky. It wasn't a bad mistake, other than he probably shouldn't have kicked it towards his own player, but how unlucky that it bounces right in front of Christian Pinzon and an empty net.
Tough one for Tampa Bay to swallow here on opening night, no questions about that. But the Vegas Lights are going to be absolutely thrilled with the way this one ends tonight. Pinzon, the match winner, and against the run of play and against the odds, the Lights win it by 1-0. We'll step aside for a moment, and we'll come back to wrap it all up next. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you to wrap things up in Las Vegas. Christian Pinzon gets the first goal and, well, the first win in the Antonio Nocerino era for the Lights. They take down Tampa Bay on opening night by 1-0. Let's go back through how it all happened in our full-time highlights here. And well, Gary, throughout we were talking about how the chances were kind of sprinkled in between, but to be fair, most of them were coming from the Rowdies.
They were. This is a shot coming out from out wide from Leon Kabiri. Just goes past the goal. They had a few of those. McPherson had one that was on target. They were threatening. They looked more likely to be. Here's the McPherson one on target. They looked more likely to be the team to go ahead. But then this moment pops up. Nicholas Campese is going to come out to get the ball here, and he hits it anywhere but at his own player. It happens. These things happen, and it could have bounced anywhere. But the only person in the way was his captain. If he'd have hit it up, if he'd have hit it left or right of Aaron Guillen, it would have been fine. And if it hadn't have bounced in front of Christian Pinzon, it would have been fine. It was just a disaster. And then at the very, very end, there's a little moment where Nick Moon just out jumps Nick Amateur here as this ball gets knocked back in. It was a fantastic jump, a good header, and it smashes against the crossbar. So frustrating night at the office for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And that would be the closest the Rowdies would come. Vegas holds on for a crucial opening night win. And the shots and the full-time match stats sort of tell you the balance at times, particularly in the second half. Rowdies outshot Vegas by quite a bit, but the shots on target kind of tell more of the story as far as the quality of the chances. And Nick Moon came the closest, but not enough.
Not enough in the end. If you look at the expected goals, .87 for Las Vegas. which is round about a goal, and they got a goal. 1.34 for Tampa Bay Rowdies. So their XG was higher. They would have expected at least a draw from this match. But soccer can be cruel, and especially for their goalkeeper, it can be very cruel when you don't have a single save to make, and you make the one error by shooting against the only player who was in your way, your captain. You cannot think of a worse debut for Nicholas Campisi, and Tampa Bay Rowdies' road woes continue.
It ends what was a fantastic opening day of the 2025 season in the USL Championship. We know you missed it. We know you wanted it back so badly, and it delivered again on the first night of the 2025 regular season. Vegas with a huge win at home over the Rowdies here on opening night. They win it by 1-0. For Gary Bailey and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Vegas. The Lights beat the Rowdies thanks to Christian Pinzon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.